This is chapter 7, implementing strategies, managements, and operations issues. So this is Bernard Dusada, the first reporter, with Cadalso Mary Joy C and Latigo Ray. So this is the chapter's objectives. So today I will be discussing the nature of the strategy implementation. So successful strategy formulation does not guarantee successful strategy implementation. So it also always more difficult to do something than to say you are going to do it. Although inextricably linked, strategy implementation is fundamentally different from strategy formulation. So strategy formulation and implementation can be contrasted in the following ways. So strategy formulation is positioning of forces before the actions. Strategy implementation is managing forces during the actions. Strategy formulations focuses on the effectiveness, while strategy implementation focuses on efficiency. Strategy formulation is primarily an intellectual process, while strategy implementation is primarily an operational process. So strategy formulation requires good initiative and analytical skills, while strategy implementations requires special motivations and leadership skills. And strategy formulations requires coordinations among a few individuals, while strategy implementations requires coordinations among many individuals. So overall view, strategy formulations, concepts, and tools do not differ from greatly for small or large, for a profit or non-profit organizations. However, strategy implementations, it is varies sustainability among different types and size of organizations. So implementing strategies requires such as actions as alternating sales territories, adding new opportunity, adding new opportunities, and also closing facilities, hiring new employees, changing an organization pricing strategy, developing financial budgets, developing new employees benefits, establishing cost control procedures, changing advertising strategies, building new facilitate, training new employees, transferring managers among the divisions, and building a better management information system. So these types of activities obviously differ greatly between the manufacturing, service, and government organizations. Next one is management's perspective. So when you say management's perspectives, it is management's issues central to strategy implementations include establishing annual objectives, devising policies, allocating resources, alternating and existing organizational structures, restructuring and re-engineering, revising reward and incentive plans, minimizing resistance to change, matching managers with strategy, developing a strategy supportive cultures, adapting productions, operations processes, also developing an effective human resources functions, and if necessary as downsizing. So when we say management's perspectives, it is mostly management's changes are necessarily more extensive when strategies to be implemented move to affirm major new directions. So managers and employees throughout an organization should be participate early and directly in the strategy implementation decision. So their role in strategy implementation should build upon a prior involvement in strategy formulation activities. So next is annual objectives. So when we say annual objectives, it is annual objectives is a decentralized activity that directly involves all the managers in organization. So annual objectives are essentially for strategy implementation because they represent the basis for allocating resources, are also a primary mechanism of evaluating managers, also the they are the major instrument for monitoring progress toward achieving long-term objectives and establishing organizational, divisional, and department priorities. So when we say annual objectives, it is as a sort of a guidelines for action. So directing and channeling efforts and activities of organizations members. So they provide source of legitimacy in an enterprise by justifying activities to stakeholders. So these serve as standards of performance. They also serve as the important source of employees' motivations and identifications. They also give incentives for managers and employees to perform, and they provide basis of organizational design. Also, annual objective is stated in terms of profitability, growth, and market share by business segment. So geographic area, customers groups, and products are common in organization. So let's proceed to policy. So policies are very common, particularly in business. So when we say policies, it is facilitate solving recurring problems and guide to the implementation of strategy. Broadly defined, policy refers to the specific guidelines, methods, procedures, rules, forms, and administrative practices by establishing to support and to encourage work toward stated goals. So policies are instruments for strategy implementation. So policies set a policy kay nagset siya og boundaries and constraints and limits on the kinds of administrative actors then be taken to the reward and sanctions behavior. So they clarify what can and cannot be done in pursuit of organization's objectives. So many organizations have a policy manual that serves to guide and direct behavior. So some issue that may require management policy. So first is to offer extensive or limited management development workshops and seminars. So next is to centralize decentralized employees training activities to create through employment agencies, college campuses, and or newspapers. So next is to promote from within or to hire from outside. Also to promote on basis for merit or on the basis of seniority. Next is to tie executive compensation to long-term and annual objectives. Also to offer numerous or few employees benefits, to negotiate directly or indirect with labor unions, to delegate authority for large expenditures, or to centrally retain their authority. Also to allow much, some or no overtime work, to establish a high or low safety stock or inventory, to use one or more suppliers, to buy or less or rent new productions equipments, to greatly or somewhat stress quality control, to establish many or only few production standards. Also to operate one, two, or three ships, to discourage using insider information for personal gain. Also to discourage sexual harassment, to discourage smoking at work, so to discuss insider trading, to discourage moonlighting. So policies are very important, particularly in organizations, because it will help the company to that the employees will follow these rules and for the betterment of organizations. Next is resource allocation. So when we say resource allocations, it is a central management activity that allows for strategy execution. All organizations have at least 4 types of resources that can be used to achieve desired objectives. So first is financial resources, physical resources, human resources, and technological resources. So, allocating resources to particular divisions and departments does not mean that the strategies will be successfully implemented. A number of factors commonly prohibited effective resources to great employees on short-run financial criteria, organizational politics, baggage strategies, targets, are reluctance to take risks, and lack of sufficient knowledge. So the real value of any resources allocations programs lies in the resulting accomplishments of organizations' objectives. Effective resources allocations does not guarantee successful strategy implementation because programs, personnel, controls, and commitment must be breathed life into the resources provided. So, strategic management itself is sometimes referred to a resource allocation process. Next is managing conflict. So, managing conflict the conflict can be defined as a disagreement between two or more parties on one or more issues. So, establishing annual objectives can lead to a conflict because the individuals have different expectations and perceptions. Schedules create pressures, personalities are incompatible, and misunderstanding between line managers such as production supervisors and staff managers, and also the staff managers such as human resources specialists occur. So managing conflict is unavoidable in organizations. So it is important that conflict be managed and resolved before the dysfunctional consequences affects to the organizational performance. So conflict is not always bad, but an absence of conflict can signal indifferences and apathy. So conflict can be served to energize opposing groups into actions and may help identify the problems. So various approaches of managing and resolving conflict can be classified into three categories. So avoidance, diffusion, and confrontation. So first, let me first explain what is avoidance. So avoidance includes such as actions and ignoring the problems in hopes that conflict will resolve itself, or physically separating the conflicting individuals or groups. While diffusion can be included playing down differences between conflict parties while accentuating similarities and common interests. So comparison so that there is neither a clear winner nor loser. So restoring the majority rule, appealing to the higher authority, or signing present positions. While confrontation is exemplified by exchanging members of conflicting parties so that each can gain appreciation of other points of view, or holding a meeting at which conflicting parties present their views and work through their differences. So matching structure with strategy. So it is the changes strategy often requires changes in the way an organization structured for two major reasons. First is structure largely dictates how objectives and policies will be established. So first, for example, objectives and policies established under a geographic organizational structures are couched in geographic terms. So objective and policies are stated largely in terms of productions in organizations whose structures is based on product groups. So the structural format of developing on products groups, developing objectives and policies can be significantly impact all other strategy implementation activities. So the second one is the second major reason why changes in strategy often requires changes in structure is that the structure dictates how resources will be allocated. So if an organization's structures is based on customers group customers groups, then resources will be allocated in the manner. Similarly, if an organization structure is set up along functional business lines, then the resources are allocated by functional areas. So unless the new or the revised strategies place emphasizes in the same areas as whole strategies, structural reorientation commonly become a part of strategies implementations. So changes in the strategy lead to a change in organizational structures. Structures should be designed to facilitate the strategic pursuit of a firm, and therefore the follow strategy without the strategy or reason for being missions, companies will find it difficult to design the effective structures. So, however, when a firm changes in its strategy, so the existing organizational structures may become ineffective. So, it is the symptoms of ineffective organizational structures. So, first is too many levels of managements. The second one, too many meetings attended by the too many people. Third one, too much attention being directed towards solving interdepartment conflicts. The fourth one, too large span of control. Fifth one, too many unachieved objectives. Six, declining corporate or business performance. Seven, the seventh one, losing a ground to rival firms. The eighth and the last, revenue and or earnings divided by number of employees and number of managers is low compared to rival firms. So overall, so changes in the structures can be facilitate strategy implementation's effort, but changes in the structure should not be expected to make a bad strategy good, to make bad managers good, or to make bad products sell.
Hey everyone, my name is Ray Latlu, and this time I'm going to continue discussion in the chapter 7. We are the group 7, and the title of the group 7 it is Implementing Strategies, Management and Operation Issues. But before I start on my discussion, I want to share some thoughts or small thoughts about strategic management. So strategic management involves the planning and executing long-term goals to gain a competitive advance, and operation issues or operating issues focuses on a day-to-day task to ensure efficiency. In order to have a success implementation, it allies these addressing challenges like resources allocations and adapting to market changes. Coordination, it is the key for smooth functioning, linking big picture strategy with everyday operation for overall organizational success. So that's a strategic management. It is very important. So let's continue discussion to my topic. My topic is all about structure. There are different types of structure, and first it's all about functional structure. So when you see functional structures, it is the most widely used structure. It's the functional or centralized type because this structure it is simplest and at least expensive of the seven alternatives. Other definitions, a functional structure groups tasks and activities by business functions such as productions, operations, marketing, finance, accounting, research and development, and also management information system. So when we say functional structure, it is organized in a company based on a specific function or activities like marketing, finance, or productions, and each department focuses on its specialized tasks, promoting efficiency, clear process, streamlined communication, but coordination between functions can be a challenge. It's like having a different teams, each handling a specific aspect of the business to enhance this expertise and effectiveness of their teams. So that's a functional structure. Now let's move on to their advantages. There are four types of advantages. First is simple and inexpensive. Second, capitalize on a specialization of business activities such as marketing and finance not encouraged. Third, minimize need for elaborate control system. Fourth, allows for rapid decision making. So, advantages of functional structure, it is simple because first it is simple and cost effective and leverage specialized teams for tasks like marketing and finance. With a clear system, it minimizes the need for the complex control systems, enabling swift decision making. However, cross-departmental coordination may be limited, and it might not suit business that try to collaboration between different functions. So that's for advantages of functional structure. And now let's move on to disadvantages of functional structure. There are 7 types of functional structure. First, which is accountability first to the top. Second, delegations of authority and responsibility. Third, minimize career development for low employee managers model. Fifth, educate planning for products and markets. Six, lead a short-term narrow thinking. Seven, leads to communication problems. So when you see functional structures as a different disadvantages. So accountability, it is a concentrated on the top, at the top, and limiting deviations, career growth may suffer. Lowering morale, educate planning for products and markets, and focus on short-term goals may arise. So communication problems can occur due to departmental silos. While cost-effective, it may not foster a holistic approach needed for a long-term success and employee satisfaction. So that's an advantages of functional structure. And now let's move on to the divisional structure. So when we see divisional structure, it is organizes a company into divisions based on the products, regions, or customers group. So each division operates like a standalone entity, enhancing focuses and adaptability to diverse needs. When we see divisional structures, it is it is arranging and a company in 4 ways by geographical area, product or services, customers or processes, division functions independently, tailoring strategies to specific regions, products, customers' needs, or processes. So this flexibility enhances responsiveness to diverse demands, but may lead to duplication of efforts across divisions, coordinations, and communications become crucial to ensure a cohesive and efficient overall operation. And let's move on to the advantages of divisional structure. There are 7 advantages. First is accountability is clear, allow local control of local situation. Third, creates career development changes. Fourth, promotes delegations of authority. Fifth, leads to competitive climate internally. Six, allows easy adding of new products or regions. Seven, allows strict control and attention to product customers, or regions. So the business structure brings an advantages can be a clear accountability, a local control for local issues, career development opportunities, and delegation of authority. It fosters a competitive environment internally, accommodates the addition of new products or regions easily, and enables focused control on specific products, consumers, or regions for enhanced attentions and management. So that's an advantage of divisional structure. And now let's move on to the advantages of divisional structure. There are also seven types of disadvantages of divisional structure. First is can be costly. Second, duplications of functional activities. Third, requisites a skill management force. Fourth, requires an elaborate control system. And fifth, competition among division can become too intense as to be less functional. Six, can lead to limited sharing of ideas and resources. Seven, some regions, products, customers may receive special treatment. So divisional structures, disadvantages is can be first is can be costly with duplicate activities. So skilled management and elaborate control system are needed. Intense internal competitions may hinder collaboration and resource sharing, and some regions of products is crucial to harness the benefits while mitigating these challenges for effective overall organized performance. So that's another disadvantages of divisional structure. And now let's move on to the strategic business unit or SBU structure. So when we say a business unit structure, it is a division in an organization grow controlling and evaluating divisions cooperation becomes challenging for strategists. So sales often don't correlate with profitability at the span of control becomes too large at top levels. So the explanation is a division expand managing and assessing operation becomes about sales and profitability may not align and top level control becomes overwhelming strategies business unit structure. And it is addresses this by creating more focused, manageable of the units. And there are two types of disadvantages strategic business unit structure. First, it requires additional management, increasing salary expenses. And the second one is the ambiguous role of the group vice president. However, this limitation often outweigh the benefits of improved coordinations and accountability. Additionally, it simplifies planning and control tasks by the corporate office. So when we say strategic business unit structure has a disadvantages, increased management rises salary. So uh, since a company increasing their management, they also increase their salaries, and the group vice president role can be unclear. So these downsides sometimes avoid the benefit of better coordination and accountability. Still, it simplifies planning and control of corporate office. Balancing this factor is the key to effectively implementing more optional organizational performance. And now let's move on to the matrix structure. So when we say matrix structure, it is common in constructions, healthcare, research, and defense. It blends functional and project-based structures, allowing employees to report to both a functional manager and a project manager. This enhances flexibility and collaboration across different aspects of organization. So that's a matrix structure, and what are the advantages of matrix structure? There are five advantages of matrix structure. First is project objectives are clear. Second, employees can clear see result of their work. Third, shut, shutting down a project is easily accomplished. Fourth, facilitate uses of special equipment, personnel, facilities, and fifth, it is a functional resource are shared instead of duplicate as in divisional structures. So bring or the project of their goals are clear. It is very important to know. You can start your planning if you have clear goals of your project. So employees see the impact of their work and closing project. It is straightforward. It facilitates the efficient use of special resources like equipment and personnel shared functional resource to prevent duplications, promoting cost effectiveness. So these structures foster a collaboration, ensuring both project success and optimal resource utilized across the organization. And now let's move on to the disadvantages. So the matrix structure has a disadvantages. It demanding seamless communication. It costly due to increased managerial roles. It challenges the unity of command principles and introduces dual budget authority. Dual sources of reward and punishment can be focusing, and shared authority reporting may lead to ambiguity. Successful implementation of this structure hangs on a mutual trust and understanding. Navigation these challenges to maintain effective collaboration and organizational coherence. And now let's move on to some dos or don'ts in developing organizational chart. There are some basic dos and don'ts in regard to this devising or constructing organizational charts, especially for mid-size to large firms. First of all, reserve the title of CEO for the top executive of the firm. So don't use the title president for the top person. Use it for the divisional top managers if there are divisional within the firm. Also, do use the title president for a functional business executives. They should have a title chief or vice president or manager or officers such as chief information officers or VP or vice president of human resources. Further, do not recommend a dual title such as CEO and president. For just an executive, the chairman of the board or CEO of the Bristol Myers Squibb Fair Dolan recently gave up his title as a chairman. So when we're creating an organizational chart, it is crucial to CEO or the chief executive officers for the executive, so not a president. It reserves to the president for division heads, not a top executives. Functional leaders should have titles like chief, vice president, or managers. Avoid dual titles for one executive. Recently, Bristol Myers Squibb or CEO. Rely visit the chairman title. And the following these are the guidelines to ensure that clarity and a proper hierarchy presentation in an organizational structure. And now let's move on to restructuring and re-engineering. So, so restructuring and re-engineering are increasingly common in a corporate landscape in the United States and Europe. Companies are reorganizing and redesigning processes to adapt, adapt a changing market demands and enhance efficiency. So when we say restructuring, it is also called downsizing or right sizing that involves reducing the size of a firm in terms of number of employees. It is often called downsizing or right sizing. It aims to reduce company size by cutting the number of employees. It prioritizes shareholders' interest over employee well-being. So this process, while benefiting shareholders, can impact employees adversely, leading to a workplace reducting or reductions for the sake of company's financial health and competitiveness. So that's restructuring, and now let's move on to re-engineering. So re-engineering is concerned more with employee and customer well-being than shareholders well-being. It is also called the process of management process innovations, services, and speed. So when we say engineering, it is a process of management, and it is focuses on enhancing employee and customers' well-being rather than solely prioritizing shareholders. It is involves innovating processes to improve services and speed, aiming for overall organizational efficiency and effectiveness. And now let's move on to linking performance and pay to strategies. So when we see linking performance and pay to strategies, according to the book, Caterpillar Incorporation is aligning performance and pay with its strategy by significantly reducing executive compensation and marginal wages. It is responsive to a construction industry slowdown and a company. It is also cutting 2,000 jobs. So this move aims to adapt uh, economic challenges, linking employee compensation to a company financial performance as it anticipated has declined its sales from $51.32 billion in 2008 to a projected on $40 billion in 2009. So that would be all about the Caterpillar and about this linking informations of performance and phase tractor. And that's the end of my part and continue to my group mate. Thank you for watching, sir, and everyone. May God bless us.
I am going to report about managing resistance to change. Resistance to change can be considered the greatest threat to successful strategy implementation. Hey everyone, so today I am going to report about managing resistance to change. Resistance to change can be considered the greatest threat to successful strategy implementation. So people often resist or oppose changes that are introduced by new strategies, especially if they do not understand or agree with the reasons or benefits of the changes. Resistance to change can hinder or delay the execution of strategies and reduces their effectiveness or outcomes. Therefore, resistance to change can be considered the single greatest threat to successful strategy implementation, and it should be minimized or overcome by effective communication, participation, and leadership. There are three commonly used approaches for implementing changes. One is forced change strategy, second is educative change strategy, and third one is rational or self-interest change strategy. Forced change strategy involves giving orders and reinforcing orders. This strategy has the advantage of being fast, but it is plagued by low commitment and high resistance. Second one is educative change strategy, is one that presents information to convince people of the need for a change. The disadvantage of this implementation is that implementation becomes slow and difficult, but evokes high commitment and less resistance. Third one is rational change strategy or self-interest change strategy, is one that attempts to convince individuals that this change is for their personal advantage. This can be relatively easy, but implementation changes are seldom to everyone's advantage. Jack Duncan described rational change strategy as consisting of 4 steps. First is employees are invited to participate in the process of change and in the details of transition. So participation allows everyone to give opinions to feel a part of the change or process and to identify their own self-interest regarding the recommended change. Second is some motivation or incentive to change is required. Self-interest can be the most important motivator. Third is communication is needed so that people can understand the purpose of changes. And lastly is giving and receiving feedback. Everyone enjoys knowing how things are going and how much progress is being made. Strategies should try to preserve, emphasize, and build upon aspects of an existing culture that support propose new strategies. This means that strategies should identify and reinforce the positive and desirable elements of the current culture that are compatible or aligned with the new strategy and void or minimize the negative or undesirable elements that are incompatible or misaligned with the new strategies. This approach can help to create a strong and consistent culture that facilitates the implementation and acceptance of new strategies. Changing a firm's culture to fit a new strategy is usually more effective than changing a strategy to fit an existing culture. This means that strategies should modify or transform the existing culture to match the new strategy rather than modify or compromise the new strategy to fit the existing culture. This approach can help to create a flexible and adaptive culture that responds to the changing needs and demands of the environment or market. Ibsen wrote that rob the average man of his life, illusion him of his happiness at the same stroke. This means that the most people have some kind of illusion or fantasy that makes their life bearable and gives them happiness. But if they lose that illusion, they also lose their happiness. Reality is often harsh and disappointing, and that people need some form of escape or delusion to cope with it. Dell and Kennedy emphasize that making strategic changes in an organization always strengthens a culture. People form strong attachments to heroes, legends, rituals, and all the symbols of the workplace. This strips relationships and leaves employees confused, insecure, and often angry, unless something can be done to provide support for transitions from old to new. The force of the culture can neutralize and emasculate strategy changes. This statement expresses that importance of production or operations capabilities, limitations, and policies for organizational objectives transforms inputs into outputs, such as goods and services that meets the needs and expectations of the customers. Productions or operations are the strength and the abilities of the organization to perform processes efficiently and effectively. Next slide is just-in-time production. Just-in-time production is a strategy of managing inventory and production that links the ordering of raw materials to the demand of the customer and reduces the waste and cost of excess inventory and storage. Just-in-time production has been used successfully by many companies, especially in manufacturing sector such as Toyota, Dell, and Harley-Davidson. Just-in-time production can also help improve the efficiency and quality of the production process as well as the customer satisfaction and loyalty. Human resource problems that arises when business implements strategies can usually be traced to one of these three causes. Number one is disruption of social and political structures. This means that the existing relationships, norms, and values of the people in the business are disturbed or changed by the new strategy, which may cause resistance, conflict, or dissatisfaction. Second one is failure to match individuals' aptitude with implementation tasks. This means that the skills, abilities, and interests of people in the business are not compatible or suitable for the tasks or roles that they are assigned to perform as part of the new strategy, which may cause poor performance, stress, or turnover. Number three is inadequate top management support for implementation activities. This means that the leaders or executives of the business do not provide enough guidance, resources, or motivation for the people in the business to carry out the new strategy, which may cause confusion, frustration, and apathy. Balancing work life and home life. Work and family strategies have become so popular among companies today that the strategies now represents a competitive advantage for those firms that offer such benefits as elder care assistance, flexible scheduling, job sharing, adoption benefits, an on-site summer camp, employee helplines, and even loan service referrals.